Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di and today I am bringing you another Yarnie update. This is Yarnie update number 22 and these are just my videos where I share with you what I've stitched on, usually within the month prior to the video. So in this one I will be sharing with you what I stitched on in the month of April. April was a little bit of a slower stitching month for me. I was dealing with a little bit of hand pain, which I deal with relatively regularly. Usually when it gets towards the summertime, it does start to flare up a bit more, so it is getting to that time of the year. It is extremely hot today. I'm not too happy about that, so I do have the fans going, so if you can hear that, I do apologize. But it's absolutely necessary for me to have those on in order for me to film these, because otherwise I don't think I'd make it through the recording. But like I said, April was a slower stitching month. I was having a bit of pain, plus I kind of felt a little bit uninspired by the projects that I have been working on lately. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that towards the end, but I do have some works in progress for you. I have some finished items to share, as well as a planned knit or two and some yarn acquisitions, which is something that I wasn't able to share last time. So let's jump into it. Let's start with currently stitching. This is my section where I talk about my works in progress. My first work in progress lives in this giant Disney Christmas bag that my mom made for me. This, you probably can recall, is the Pajama Cardigan by Autumn Acorn. I am working on this for my mother, and things are going rather slow on it. So last time I shared with you that I had finished the front left or right panel. I finished one of the front panels, and I hadn't yet started on the other one. I have started on the other one. This is how much I have at this point. I need to make this about 20 inches before I start the decreasing for the V section on the front side. And so I'd say I have maybe a foot, 12 inches. So I have quite a bit more to go, but it's just plain stockinette stitching. This is knit flat, so I do knits and purls. And yeah, just there's not much to it, and like I said, I haven't been very inspired by what I've been stitching on. I did do a craft and chat with one of my groups that I am a part of. I had talked to you before about my booktube channel and how we had hosted a March Mystery Madness for the 6th year in March, and so we had started a group on Discord. And so I got some of those people together for a craft and chat one Friday, and it was a lot of fun. I worked on this while I was chatting with them because it's a nice, easy thing to work on while you're chatting with others, but it gets kind of boring. Just knitting and purling back and forth gets kind of boring. And so I kind of put this down after that. That was a couple weeks ago, I think we had that craft and chat. So I didn't work on it very much during the month, but I still think I got quite a bit of it done. I need to try to not put that away for too long, because otherwise it's just going to languish in the bag. And I'd really like to get that one done for my mom. Obviously it's too hot for her to be using it right now, but come winter time this year, it'll be useful. So yeah, that is the Pajama Cardigan by Autumn Acorn. My next work in progress is actually a prototype for a pattern that I am working on. I had mentioned to you last time that I was working on a pair of Christmas socks for April, and that those would be the socks that I would work on for April as my 12 pairs of Christmas socks for the year. And so when my mom had seen that pair of socks finished, and it was her turn to have me work on a pair of socks for her, she immediately said that those were the socks that she wanted. So I obliged her and we decided to use some yarn that I had in stash. This is Patton's Licorice Socks. I think this might be the FX rendition of it, but this colorway is called Brown Rose Marl, and my camera really doesn't like to pick up or focus, but you can kind of see that it is marled. My mom really likes this yarn. She has another pair of socks in a blue colorway. I can't remember what that one was called, but I made her the Peter socks from Kay Jones at the Bakery Bears podcast, and she really enjoys wearing those socks. She says there's something about this yarn that just makes those socks more comfortable to wear for her. So I found this one in stash and asked her if it was okay that she would like a pair of pink socks, and she said okay. So I had 2 balls of that ready to go. So since this is a pattern that I am trying to get out this year, I'm just going to flash it really fast. So I do have 1 sock done. My mom enjoys shorter socks, so these are shorty socks. And so the pattern that I'm working on, I'm going to call it the Licorice Socks, and they look something like this. So those are the Licorice Socks. I'm almost ready to ask for test knitters on that one. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. I did make a few modifications from the finished pair that you will see a little bit later, and I think that's going to work out very well. But yeah, if you're interested in test knitting that sock pattern, definitely let me know either down in the comments, or you can private message me on any one of my social media platforms listed, or even jump into my Discord and join there, because that is where I'm going to be hosting the group chat for the pattern testing. So if you're interested, definitely let me know. I'm thinking it'll be done in a week or 2. So yeah, just so that you can see how the yarn knits up. It is a striped yarn, and it's like color blocked. There are sections in between that are different colors, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoy working with this yarn. It's nice and plump. I've also tried something different with the toe. I don't think I've seen anybody do what I've done with this toe, so I'm going to call it my lightning toe. And it just kind of takes away a lot of that tabbed look on the side, which I don't enjoy a lot of the time. So I tried something different. I think it works out well, but that's the 1 sock I have for my mom for the Licorice Socks. So I'm super excited to get that out, hopefully in the next couple months. And that is pretty much all that I have on the needles right now, or that I'm actively stitching. So let's move quickly into no stitches required. The first thing I have to share with you are my finished pair of Licorice Socks. So like I said, I'm just going to flash them really quickly. So they look like this. I did use a commercial sock yarn. It was the Mally Socks, and I am not even sure how to pronounce that, but can you? I know the light is kind of glaring on that, but it's Mally Socks in the 24-12-20 colorway. And yeah, I really enjoyed this yarn as well. It is a nice plump fingering weight yarn, and so that's what I used for the body of the sock. And then for the heels and toes, I used Knit Pick Stroll Fingering in the Everglade Heather colorway, and this is all I have left. I did use that skein for a couple other projects, so I'm glad to have used some more stash yarn for another project, so that was great as well. Like I said, I did make some changes from those initial socks to the sock that I knit up for my mom. So I'm happier with how the sock came out for my mom, even though it's not much different from how I had done it originally. Just little tweaks here and there made me a little bit happier with how it came out. But again, definitely let me know if you're interested in test knitting that one. The second pair of socks I have to share with you are my daughter's Dragons in the Night socks. Now this sock is done, it's a pattern by Kay Litton, who is the crazy sock lady, and I really enjoyed this one. I had used the leftover Krampus yarn from Leading Men Fiber Arts. I had used this for my Christmas tree socks. I think that was my first pair of Christmas socks for 2021. And then the toes and heels are Cascade Heritage in the Jade colorway. And those were leftovers from my Clip Crows Fly Again project. So I did a sweater and a pair of So I did a sweater and a pair of scrappy socks for my daughter, and so I still have quite a bit of leftover in this color, but I think it just went really well with this yarn. You can see some of this color in the variegation in the yarn, and it was just, I really like these as well. So again, these are the Dragons in the Night socks by Kay Litton. I'll pull one off so that you can see the stitch pattern. So this is a paid for pattern, and I just think it is really nice. I think I would have preferred if it went all the way around. So I think if I do a pair of these for myself, I will make them all the way around, but I'm happy with these nonetheless. And I think they are really, really great. So, how much did I have left in the Krampus colorway? The answer to that is not very much. So let me just pull out the bag here. So like I said, I did have a lot of leftover from my Jade colorway, but the Krampus yarn, I only had this much. So it's not very much at all, just about enough to, I think, do a patch in case it has a hole in it later on in the future. But yeah, I'm glad I had enough. I was kind of sweating it towards the end. I didn't think I was going to have enough, but I ended up having enough. The socks look great and I'm super happy with them. So now I can give them to my daughter to add to her collection. So that is pretty much all that I have stitched on in April. Let's move on into some planned knitting. So like I said, in the month of April, I was feeling a little bit uninspired by the projects that I had currently going. I didn't really want to pick up anything else on my Make 9 list, which are projects mostly of things that I have already on the needles and just need to work on so that I can finish those projects. And the one item that I had on my Make 9 list that would have been a brand new project was a cardigan, but it was also black and stitched flat, which is what I'm doing for my mom's pajama cardigan, so I didn't want to do that either. So I have been eyeing the Grocery Girls Comfort Fade Cardi Cal. I told myself I wasn't going to do it because it is a DK weight sweater. I would have to buy yarn for it, and at the time I just couldn't justify it. I mean, I have all this yarn to use. I don't buy DK yarn very often. If I do buy it, I buy it specifically for a project. And so I don't really do a lot of DK weight projects. I do mostly worsted or fingering weight projects. So I have a lot of worsted and I have a lot of fingering weight. But I talked myself out of doing that cal. And I think they started that cal a month or so ago. Maybe it was at the end of March. But I've been very good and talked myself out of it. Well, then Happy Knits, I think her name is Yolanda. I'll link her channel down in the description box below, as well as the Comfort Fade Cardi Cal. But she, Yolanda, is doing a cardigan cal. And again, the one project I have on my Make 9 list is a cardigan. I could have just jumped in with that. But again, I'm still working on my mom's pajama cardigan. The color that I'm currently working on right now is very similar to the yarn that I had set aside for that project. And it was knit flat. So obviously with cardigans, you have to knit it flat. So that's something that if I wanted to join in on the Happy Knits cal, I would have to concede to. So then I thought, let me just take a look in my stash and see what I have. And I came up with a fingering weight fade that I was pretty happy with. And so I thought, well, if you add some mohair to that, that should give you the right weight of yarn that you need for the Comfort Fade Cardi. So that's what I did. I ordered some mohair. So even though this should go in acquisitions, I'm going to share it with you now because it is part of my planned project. And so I bought some Aloft lace weight from Knit Picks in the Plover color, which is just an icy gray. I have not worked with mohair before, but I do have a little bit in my stash. And so this should be interesting. I will share with you what colors and skeins that I have decided to go with. So I have a skein of Cherry Blossom from Lolo Did It. Again, this is a fingering weight skein, as are all the other ones that I have chosen. This one is on her original base. So this is 85% extra fine superwash merino and 15% nylon. Then I have this. This is a skein of Little Skein in the Big Wool. This is on her smooth sock base, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon in the Violet Veil colorway. This was inspired by Anne of Avonlea. I am part of her Kindred Spirits yarn club. So in that yarn club, we get sent mystery skeins that are inspired by the Anne of Green Gables series. And I've been a part of that club for about a year now, but I don't think I've ever shared that with you guys because I haven't ever used the yarn. I just keep collecting it and I've never used it. So I really wanted to try to use some of that this year. And I thought that this would work perfectly in my Comfort Fade Cardi. And so that is the second skein. The third skein that I pulled out is this one. This is the Breakfast Club, again by Lolo Did It. This is on her plush sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 10% tencel. So that's the Breakfast Club. I also have this skein of Precious Bakery Bears yarn. Kay is no longer dyeing yarn, and I had purchased this one when I had become a new patron. She had done some special dyed skeins for some of their patrons when I first joined. But she had done some skeins that were dyed inspired by Agatha Christie novels, and this one's called Murder at the Vicarage. This one is on her Bolton base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon high twist. So I've held on to this one for a while because I have been a patron for 2.5 years now. And so I actually, fun fact, I got on the pre-order list for this while we were on vacation in Hawaii. They had put up the pre-order for it, and so I had just jumped in while we were on vacation and ordered myself a skein. And so I don't wear a lot of purple, to be honest. Purple is not my most favorite color in the world. It is my sister's favorite color, but it has never been one that I gravitated towards. But these skeins just seemed to go together with each other. So because I needed a bigger size, I do need one more skein. So I am doing a 5-color fade, and my last skein is another Bakery Bears yarn. You can see that I have already skeined it up, or caked it up, and that it is twisted with my first thing of mohair. That's because I did swatch with it to see if I could get gauge, and I did. I do gauge swatch dry. That is something that I have always done. I don't ever cut my yarn and soak it to get gauge. I always gauge swatch dry, and then if it turns out a little bigger, that's okay with me. Especially because this is a cardigan, I'm not too worried about that. But I did have to go down a needle size, so I will be using one size smaller needle than the pattern calls for. But this yarn is another Bakery Bears yarn. This one was inspired by Severus Snape, and it is called After All This Time. This one, I believe, was also on her Bolton base. Of course, the little ticket is in the middle here, and I can't really pull it out. But I believe it was also on her Bolton base. So 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon high twist. And this is just another one of those precious skeins that I've had sitting in the stash. So all together, the colors kind of look like this. And so I think I have them in the order of something like, I'll put a picture up right here and show you what order I plan to use them in. Obviously this is going to be the one that I use up top, so this is going to be the first skein that I put in, and so I am super excited to get that one cast on this weekend. I am filming on, it is May 1st today. So today is the start of that cowl. Again, I'll link all of the information down in the description box below in case you're interested. The Grocery Girls cowl goes up until June 19th. I think it's the middle of June. So there's still plenty of time to jump in on that if you'd like to join in. I think the Happy Knits cowl will go till the end of June, if not July. That I'm not sure, but again, all the details will be listed and links down in the description box below. So the last thing I want to share with you are a few acquisitions. And when I say a few, I mean a lot, because I kind of went a little crazy. So uninspiration led to a yarn haul. But I'm not going to make any excuses for it. I haven't purchased some yarn in a while, and so I just saw a skein that I really wanted to jump in on, and I decided to go for it. But there was something that I forgot to share with you last time. I had entered the Do So Knits. It was a knit along. I can't remember what it was, but I'll link her announcement for it down in the description box below. It had something to do with making something you always wanted to, and I had entered my Christmas tree socks in that cowl because I have always wanted to make several pairs of Christmas socks, and I've just never done it. I made one here and there, and I really wanted to get a move on and do my 12 months of Christmas socks for 2021. And so I had entered my Christmas tree socks, and I won a prize. So I won this gorgeous skein from Chromatic Yarns. This is the Corner of Craft podcast. And I've been watching that podcast over the last few months, maybe. I think I started watching during Vlogmas, actually. It was the first time that I sat down and watched some of her videos. And I really enjoy her videos. I enjoy her vlogs. I enjoy her podcasts. And I was lucky enough to win this gorgeous skein. So this is Chromatic Yarns Magic Missile in her merino sock base, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And her skeins are inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, I believe. And it came with this really cute ladybug beaded stitch marker, which is something that she also shares with us while she is working on her vlogs and things like that. So I am super excited for this. The skein came in this little baggie with two bird and blend teas. So this is Mohi tea, which is a super refreshing blend of green tea, peppermint, and lime. I don't drink a lot of green tea. In fact, I call it grass in a cup because that's what it tastes like to me. But I do enjoy mint and lime, so I'll probably give this one a go. And then the second one was this one, which is Chocolate Digestives, a smooth cocoa hit with a chocolatey biscuity base. This is Sri Lankan black tea. I've never had Sri Lankan black tea, so I'm super excited to try this as well. So that was the prize that I received from Kristen over at Do So Knits. I really enjoy her podcast as well. Again, she's linked down in the description box below. Definitely go check her out. So the next skein I want to share with you is my month shipment from Little Skein in the Big Wool. I mentioned earlier about the Kindred Spirits Yarn Club. It is an every other month yarn club, so we get 6 skeins of yarn every year. We don't get one every month. And so this month's skein is called Apple Blossom, and it looks like this. This will actually go very well with a couple of the other skeins that I have from this yarn club, so I'm looking to do a fade with them in something. And this just says Kindred Spirits April 2021, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I always get it in her smooth sock base. So when I signed up, I just asked for the smooth sock base, and so that's what I get sent every other month. So yeah, so that came in just the other day. And then the skein that I was waiting on the last time that I podcast was this one. I have started to purchase the Hawaii Bazaar. I don't know if you can. Hawaii Bazaar. She does an anime club, so every month she has new skeins inspired by animes. I missed the very first one, which was Inuyasha, but I did share with you the second month, which was Ouran High School Host Club. This was Fruits Basket. Fruits Basket is a manga that I have read about half of, and it is an anime that we are currently watching. I do have an unpopular opinion of it at the moment, but I really enjoyed most of what I've read so far, and I do enjoy seeing the manga come to life in the anime, but the storyline is something that I have a bit of a problem with. That being said, I really enjoy this yarn. It's very cheerful, I feel like, which is kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really match the theme of the manga or the show for me. I'm not really sure where she's pulling inspiration for the skeins, because I kind of feel like the anime is more subdued in color, but nonetheless, I am very happy with this skein. I think it is very cheery, and I do get it with the little mini, so I get the like sock set, I think that's what it's called. So this just says Fruits Basket Anime March Club, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. So that is the Fruits Basket colorway. I did order the April skein. It is in transit. It hasn't reached me yet. That one was based on Your Lie in April, which is an anime that I have been meaning to watch and a manga that I have been meaning to read. I am super excited for that one because the teaser picture she put up for it was very turquoise. And you know me, turquoise is very much my color, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing that one in real life. But the rest of the yarn that I have to share is Lolo Did It yarn. And there was a reason for it. Now I do own quite a bit of Lolo Did It yarn. It's no secret that I enjoy her yarn and that I order quite a bit of it. But she had sent out a newsletter saying that she was doing a mystery skein for the book club that she runs, and that the theme for the skein was Frances Hodgson Burnett's The Secret Garden. I think it's called The Secret Garden and not just Secret Garden. I should know this. I've watched the movie, the 1980s movie, the Hallmark rendition, several times. That one is my favorite, with Colin Firth. Need I say more? But I have also read the book. I own a copy as well, and it is a story that I really enjoy. But they were reading it for the book club, and she had decided she was going to dye up a secret skein. So it was a mystery skein, and because it's a story that I enjoy so much, I decided to go ahead and make a purchase. It has been, I think, about 6 months since I've made a purchase from her. I usually make a pretty large purchase a couple times a year from her. And so while I was there, I decided to pick up a few more things, and yeah. So I'm going to show you the Secret Garden skein right now. As far as I know, she hasn't released a spoiler shot of it on her Instagram. So if you are interested in keeping the secret and that you have ordered this yarn, definitely look away right now, because I am going to show this skein. So 3, 2, 1. This is the Secret Garden colorway. I purchased it on her plush sock base, which is a sock base that I have been really enjoying of her. Normally I purchase the original base, but I just enjoyed working the plush sock base so much when I worked on, what project did I work on? I don't even remember what project I did, but it was the plush sock base, and it was just so plush and just nice and plump. This one is 75% merino, 15% nylon, 10% tencel. So this is the Secret Garden colorway, and I'm really excited for that. If you were looking away, you can look back right now. So the rest of the stuff that I picked up was this skein of One of a Kind. This is on her original base. This is called Poseidon, and like I said, I really enjoy turquoise. I also enjoy teal and things, and so this one is a bright turquoise with like an electric blue speckle. Super pretty. Then I have Hippo for Easter. This is on her plush sock base. I really enjoy her Hippo line. I don't order a lot of them though. She's done quite a few more non-traditional hippos lately, and I like to make larger purchases when I purchase from her just to cover the shipping, because her free shipping limit is really high to get that. So that's why I make larger purchases from her, to try to get that free shipping. I did get free shipping on this one, just so you know. So that tells you how much I bought. But I also picked up this. This is Edelweiss on her plush sock base. This is part of her Sound of Music collection. Edelweiss is my favorite song from The Sound of Music. And so I'm super excited for this one as well. I picked up a skein of Ready Player One, and oh, that is really blowing out on the camera. But it is a super bright fluorescent yellow, fluorescent green, and a minty aqua variegated skein. This is on her original base. Like I said, it was Ready Player One. This one, I have been meaning to purchase a skein for a very, very long time. And it's being retired forever, which means she's never going to dye it again. So I said I got to pick it up right now. So that is this one. Then the last thing I picked up was a whole bunch of Yeti Goes to Jurassic Park. I'm a huge fan of the Jurassic Park franchise. And she had this out before. I picked up one skein, and when I saw that she had it in the shop again, I decided to go ahead and repurchase. This one is her original base. Like I said, I had picked up her original base before, but I had decided to go ahead and get 3 more skeins in the original base. So that'll give me 4 total skeins, and I'm planning to do a V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman. I had seen the V-back tee on Craft House Magic's podcast, Ellie's podcast, and I thought it was really cute, and I thought, why not make myself a Yeti Goes to Jurassic Park V-back tee? So I'm going to go ahead and do that with these skeins, and then I decided to pick up 2 more skeins of Yeti Goes to Jurassic Park in the plush sock base for socks. So I am super excited for these. I'm super excited for the movies that are coming out, or the movie singular that is coming out next year. I can't believe it got pushed back. So the other thing that came with the purchase was this little cute skein. This was called a yarn tasting, and this is Professor Plum in the Divine Yak base, and I thought that was just such a neat idea to give me a sampler of a yarn that I hadn't tried before. And so I'm super excited to put this with the rest of my minis. But that is everything that I have purchased, everything that I have worked on lately, everything that I finished. And so in May, I don't really have many plans on stitching besides the Comfort Fade Cardi, my pair of Christmas socks, and I'm working on getting out my very first pattern. So I think that's pretty much all I've got to share with you. Nothing much is going on in my life. Everything's pretty much the same. I did make a visit to the office a couple times in the month of April. I just had to do a couple of things at the office, but I didn't have to stay very long. I was there for maybe a half an hour, and then I came back home and worked. I'm still working from home. It's been great. My brother's birthday is coming up at the end of the month, so I will be able to talk to him again. I did talk to him in April because my mom's birthday was towards the end of April. And so we got to talk to him and talk to my nieces, and that was really nice. Don't think we're going to be able to make it home for a trip anytime soon. But yeah, things are great. We're great. We're safe and healthy. So let me know down in the comments below what your favorite project that you worked on was in the month of April. Have you worked on any of the patterns that I mentioned in this video? Have you made any really great yarn purchases? What was your favorite yarn to use during the month, or your favorite yarn that you purchased in the month? And that will do it for me today. If you've made it to the end of this video, please leave me the word Jurassic down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.